Imagine threatening to steal a city's beloved football team unless taxpayers fork over nearly $1 billion. That's exactly what's happening in Buffalo right now. The Buffalo Bills' jaw-dropping $1.7 billion stadium saga isn't just a big construction project. It's a tale of power, greed, and a billionaire family playing hardball with an entire state's emotions. What started as an ambitious project has turned into America's most controversial stadium deal. Surprisingly, the billionaire owners, worth $6.8 billion, aren't covering most of the bill. Instead, they're relying on local taxpayers to fund their dream project. But there's even more to this story. From the sudden involvement of casino funds to the owners hinting they might move the team to Texas, the drama surrounding this deal is intense. On top of that, the stadium's design guarantees Buffalo will never host a Super Bowl. The strangest twist? Bills fans are diving into 40-foot construction holes before games for good luck, and their team keeps winning. But behind all the chaos, one burning question remains. Did Buffalo make a smart investment to keep their cherished football team? Or did billionaire owners just execute the most aggressive financial play in sports history? Let's wind back the clock to understand why Buffalo needs this new stadium so badly.
They were committed. We knew they had staying power. We knew that they cared about Buffalo.
The favorite thing I saw was the model. Everybody's got questions about what this new building is going to look like. Every question you can think of, they've got an answer for.
Buffalo is not your typical NFL city. In fact, it's the second smallest city with an NFL team, ranking 78th in population. But what Buffalo lacks in size, it makes up for with some of the loudest, most passionate fans in football. Their current home, Highmark Stadium, opened way back in 1973. That's 51 years of brutal Buffalo winters beating down on this place. Snow, ice, wind, you name it, this stadium has faced it all. When engineers checked out the old stadium, they dropped a bombshell. Just fixing it up would cost almost $1 billion. And the worst part? Half of that money would go to fixing just the upper deck. Even after spending all that cash, the stadium would only last another 15 years. Think about that, $1 billion for just 15 more years of football. But when team owners Terry and Kim Pegula announced their plans for a new stadium, nobody was ready for what came next. What happened in the summer of 2021 left the entire NFL community speechless. In August 2021, the Bills owners dropped a bomb that shook Buffalo to its core. Their message was simple: give us $1.1 billion for a new stadium, or we're taking the team to Austin, Texas. Think about that for a second. A city that lives and breathes Bills football was suddenly facing the threat of losing its team. And here's where it gets interesting. The owners, Terry and Kim Pegula, aren't exactly short on cash. They're worth $6.8 billion. That's billion with a B. But wait, the story gets even better. Just when everyone thought $1.1 billion was a done deal, the price tag started climbing. By August 2023, that number had exploded to $1.7 billion. That's an extra $600 million nobody saw coming. Sports experts are calling this one of the worst deals for taxpayers in American sports history. But beyond the controversy, let's shift gears and explore the stadium's impressive design.
Whether it was just a restructuring or, and I've been talking to a lot of other teams around, other clubs around the league. How are you doing things?
The best way to do that is to create an experience that really can immerse them in all those things at the same time.
Here's something most fans don't know. The Bills' new home isn't just another stadium. It's actually based on one of England's coolest soccer venues, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. In fact, the Bills played there in October 2023, getting a sneak preview of their future home. The same company, Populous, that designed famous places like Yankee Stadium and the London Olympic Stadium, is behind this project. The new stadium is all about bringing fans closer to the action. With a seating capacity of 62,000, the seats are designed at a steep 34-degree angle compared to the old stadium's 28 degrees. This means every seat, even the last row, is now 54 feet closer to the field than before. They've also pushed all the bathrooms and food stands further back, creating a complete 360-degree walking path on both levels. Looking at the outside, you'll see something pretty unique. The stadium has this impressive row of columns wrapped in iron brick panels that rise to different heights. Above these bricks, they've added special metal panels with holes that let fans see inside as they walk up. And right outside, there's this cool new feature called the Family Circle, with a sculpture of American bison that's sure to become a fan favorite spot for photos. To keep fans comfortable in Buffalo's harsh weather, they've added some smart features. A canopy will cover 65% of the seats, and they've installed heaters under the overhangs. Plus, all the walkways are indoor now, so you won't freeze on your way to grab those halftime snacks. Teams won't have to share a single tunnel anymore either. They've added multiple ways to get on and off the field. The Bills have even built this high-tech preview center where fans can use virtual reality to check out their future seats and explore all the food and drink options. It's like test driving your seat before buying it. But here's where things get interesting. Remember that canopy I mentioned? Well, the decision about the stadium's roof has started the biggest argument in Buffalo since someone put ranch on their wings. And trust me, what they decided to do about the roof, that's where this story gets wild. Here's the decision that has Buffalo split down the middle. The Bills' new $1.7 billion home won't have a full roof. That's right. In one of America's snowiest cities, they're building a stadium that's partly open to the sky. Now, this single choice comes with a huge consequence. Buffalo can never host a Super Bowl. The NFL requires a fully covered stadium for its biggest game. So, a city spending nearly $2 billion on a new stadium just ruled itself out of ever hosting the biggest show in football. But here's what makes this so interesting. Bills fans are totally divided on this. One side is thrilled. They say this is exactly what Buffalo football should be. Those crazy snow games where you can barely see the field, that's their advantage. After all, teams from warm places like Miami and Los Angeles hate playing in Buffalo's freezing weather. Plus, some of the NFL's most iconic games have happened in Buffalo's snow. They call it the Bills weather, but the other side, they're furious. They think the only reason the stadium doesn't have a full roof is to save money. These fans point out something pretty obvious. If you're already spending $1.7 billion, why not add a bit more to make it a year-round venue? A roof would mean concerts in winter, other sporting events, and yes, maybe even a Super Bowl someday. However, the drama doesn't stop at the stadium's design. What unfolded during its construction gave rise to one of the wildest traditions in NFL history.
The thing that you notice, that I noticed very quickly in my time at the Bills about Kim was how she's a very caring person and really builds those relationships so she gets to know the people that are around our organization.
This team's not going to end up in Buffalo. This team's going to end up LA or Toronto or...
Back in September 2023, something weird happened at the construction site. A fan jumped over the fence and fell 30 to 40 feet into a massive construction hole. Now, most stories would end there, but in Buffalo, that was just the beginning. Here's where it gets crazy. After the fall, the Bills went on a winning streak. 6 straight victories led them straight into the playoffs. And before each win, like clockwork, someone would jump into the pit. Bills fans started calling it feeding the pit, believing each fall brought the team good luck. Meanwhile, actual construction was moving at full speed. Ground broke on June 5th, 2023, with a fancy ceremony featuring the NFL commissioner and New York's governor. By March 2024, workers had finished all the digging work and started laying the foundation. Right now, you can see steel beams rising from the ground while concrete work continues below. The new stadium sits right next to the old one, separated by Abbott Road. What's kind of poetic is that the new stadium is being built on what used to be a parking lot. And once the old stadium gets demolished, it'll become, you guessed it, a new parking lot. Talk about a full circle moment. But behind the scenes, a financial drama was unfolding.
Kim and I were always partners. She's obviously had her health situation and she's not 100% what she used to be, but I just wish and pray. I know there's a lot of people praying for her. Hopefully she continues to improve, which she is doing every day.
The Bills Mafia, best fan base in the world.
Bills Mafia had to say about that. Trina.
Marley, the number of parking spots available at Highmark Stadium has been cut by roughly 1,000.
First up, the Pegulus. Despite being worth $6.8 billion, they're only putting up $850 million. That's just half the bill. Pretty sweet deal when you're getting a whole stadium, right? But here's the crazy part. New York State is throwing in $600 million of taxpayer money, and Erie County, they're adding another $250 million. Added up, that's $850 million coming straight from regular people's pockets. Now, here's where it gets shady. Remember that $600 million from New York State? The governor pulled a fast one. They took $418 million that was supposed to come from Seneca Nation casinos, money that was meant for local communities, and dumped it all into this stadium deal. The remaining $400+ million was pulled from various New York State taxes. Here's something nobody's talking about. When the stadium is finally complete, guess who owns it? The Bills. The same Bills owned by the billionaire Pegulus. So they're getting a $1.7 billion stadium while only paying for half of it. After exposing the questionable funding, here's another twist that has fans boiling. The new stadium will actually be smaller than the old one. We're talking about losing 10,000 seats, dropping from 72,000 to just 62,000. In a city where Bills tickets are already hard to get, they're making it even tougher. Think about that. Almost $1 billion in taxpayer money for a stadium that fits fewer fans. Some locals are asking, who is this stadium really for? But supporters say this was a smart move. Smaller capacity means higher ticket demand. Higher demand means higher prices. And higher prices, well, that helps pay back all those millions in taxpayer money. At least that's what they claim. Looking at the bigger picture, we've got a fascinating story here. A small market team in a tough weather city just landed one of the most expensive stadiums in NFL history. They're building it without a roof in the snow capital of the NFL, and they're making it smaller despite having some of the league's most passionate fans. So here's the billion-dollar question we started with. Was this massive project really a touchdown for Buffalo, or did taxpayers get tackled for a huge loss? The answer might take years to become clear, but one thing's for sure. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about a city's identity, its future, and whether betting big on sports can really pay off for the people who matter most, the fans. If you're interested in watching this story unfold, there's actually a 24/7 live stream of the construction site. I've put the link in the description below. And if you enjoy diving deep into stories like this one, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more fascinating projects to explore.